don't know what time it is. Let's get it.
What's up, everybody? In that last video, we were at the same spot. That was about, I don't know, a couple weeks ago maybe. We went from needing water, pumping water, having to at least top everything off once a week, to 2.5 inches of rain and overflowing. So such is farming, you know what I mean? That's the way it goes. So now we don't need any water. The crazy thing about it is, though, it's almost time to take the water off the rice. So, hey, it is what it is. So I'll be coming in here, busting a hole in this levee in probably about a week and a half, 2 weeks. I'll bust a hole in this levee, let all the water out, get this field drained out, and let the rice go ahead and draw all the moisture up out of the soil so we can go ahead and get prepped to harvest in short order. Sesame. That's a no-go in a rice field. If I was planting for ducks, I wouldn't care. A few Sesbania might even be beneficial for cover, but in a field for a crop, you don't want that. Sesbania starts putting out seed. You got one, next year you got 1,000. So I got some Sesbania growing on the levee right down here. I'm gonna come along and chop them down before they start making a bean. But as far as the field, that baby is clean. I made sure I didn't have any Sesbania in it. Rice is looking pretty. What I'm growing this year is, this right here is Della. Over in the other field, back that way, I got another field of Della, and over this way is a field of Charleston Gold. Odd thing about Charleston Gold, odd thing about all this rice is that, you know, you get told, well, this one gets ready before that one, this one will be ripe, it's got a shorter growth cycle. Man, I've planted this, Della, I've planted Charleston Gold for a few years in a row now, and then Carolina Gold, and Carolina Gold's supposed to be the longest growth cycle. Last year, and I believe year before last, I planted them at the same time. Carolina Gold got ready before the Charleston Gold. Now this year, this Della is supposed to be ready before Charleston Gold. Now, last year it was ready before Charleston Gold. This year, the Charleston Gold is going to be ready before the Della. You just got to be ready. You got to be on your toes. That's all that matters. You just got to be on your toes. When it's ready to cut, you better be out there ready to cut it, because you got to pull it in when it's between 18 and 20% moisture. Gotta be on the lookout for Mr. No Shoulders. I ain't exactly wearing snake boots. Gotta make my way back to the van. Just because I just walked through here, that don't mean nothing. I've had it happen plenty of times that I drove through with a four-wheeler or rode through an area, or walked through an area and come back and there's a snake. So, and don't think because you're getting close to the road, you're good to go. One time out in Hellhole, I stepped out to look down, like down through a swamp branch. And when I walked over to the culvert, and it was in December out in Hellhole Swamp, and when I got to the edge of the road, I stopped like right there, you know, and I felt something just kind of tap me on my boot. I thought it was a stick or something. I looked down and it was a little cottonmouth. He was right on the edge of the grass, like right there. And I wasn't looking for him, but he tapped me on the end of the boot and took off. And that was in December. So, you know, this is the Charleston Gold field. The heads are a different color in this field. I mean, they're going to be a little bit of a golden color anyway, hence the name Charleston Gold. So what I want to show y'all is what I'm looking for. Now see, these heads are starting to droop over, and it's time for this part of the field to go ahead and start drying out. But the field ripens in different stages. Like the whole field doesn't ripen exactly at the same time. So but you see these heads are starting to tip over. That's the tip fill, and they're getting harder. As you see here, I'm mashing on it. It's not mashing. These are in the soft, what we call the soft dough stage. If I can break one open here, I'll show you. Well, this one's still a little bit in the milk stage. See that little milky substance coming out of it right there? That's what our birds tend to like anyway. It's getting into the soft dough stage. Yeah, it's starting to harden up. Now over on the Della field right across the road right here, it's all milking. A lot of this is already pollinated. It's in the milk to soft dough stage. And I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling a board to let this a little bit higher spot in the field go ahead and drain off. Look at the wood ducks right there. I've seen some wood ducks coming out of the fields. There's a few things that really alarm a rice farmer. And those things are weeds like barnyard grass, Sesame, and birds. Blackbirds and the little black-headed cowbirds, I think is what they call them. It's a little brown, dark brown bird with a black head, and the female's just a drab brownish color. And they can descend on your rice fields and wreak havoc on them. They love that rice in the milk stage. They'll pop those things, and they'll pop them and suck that milk out of them, and then you'll end up with blank holes. But they're not doing anything to these fields, thank God. Once our rice starts to harden up, we don't see much blackbirds. It's a weird thing. I went to Louisiana back in November, and they were riding around shooting at them and trying to scare them off of the fields and all, and they were trying to protect their ratoon crop in early November. They were going to cut the ratoon crop, and they're trying to scare the blackbirds. I'm talking about clouds of blackbirds. But they told me that their blackbirds get on them when the rice is ripe. See, so here we go. Here's a Della. See that? That was easily, that one just popped real easy. Definitely still in the milk stage. Like I said, really weird because that Charleston Gold is getting ready before the Della, and it makes no sense. There's a few birds out there. I see them, but not near as many as what I've had to deal with before. They're out there, but they're not real thick, thank God. I don't want them to be. Yep, this Della's looking good though. Looking good, starting to bow over. Tip fill, it's still pollinating. Let me see if I can zoom in close. See there? The rice is self-pollinating. Yeah, field's looking good, looking real good. Now, I want to show y'all what barnyard grass looks like. You see that purple stuff? There's some that escaped the sprayer. It's nice and mature. And those few plants right there are probably producing a few thousand seed. I'll get them next go round. But see, that's what it looks like. Let me grab one. There you go. Barnyard grass. And it's got a little millet-like seed. It actually is a millet. See there? It is a very close. It's a type of wild millet basically, and so it puts off these little seeds. And very prolific, grows like crazy. What's so funny is that they sell duck millet. I bought a bag of duck millet the other day and put in a little pond that we're not growing rice in. It's just for the birds. And to see that stuff growing, you look at it and you're like, man, doggone it, they're bagging up barnyard grass. But it's what it is. It looks exactly like it, grows exactly like it, shatters, the seeds shatters, and it reseeds exactly like it. So, you know what they say, if it looks like a duck, walks like a duck, and quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And I'm thinking, man, they're selling barnyard grass seed? We fight that stuff in the rice fields, man. We hate it, you know? But for every, I don't know exact numbers, but I saw some numbers one time, like for every acre of barnyard grass seed or barnyard grass you have growing in rice, you lose like so much yield because it grows in the exact same environment that rice grows in. And then it also sucks up a lot of nitrogen. It's a grass species, and grass loves nitrogen. Another thing about barnyard grass is that if you manage a field for rice, which is what I'm doing, you're creating an environment that favors barnyard grass because it likes the same environment. Check it out. A little persimmon tree, got persimmons on it. I've seen some heavy persimmon crop this year. Now, you might not know this, but persimmons are actually real good. And that one's kind of soft. I'm not gonna mess with it. For whatever reason, this one was gotten ready before the rest of them. But how many of y'all ever ate a green persimmon? You won't forget it. Basically, a persimmon tastes best when it's about to fall off the branch or when it's already fell on the ground. If you eat a persimmon when it's not ready, boy, it'll draw your mouth up. Them things are bitter. But when they fall off, completely different. They're nice and sweet. And some of these marginal areas, we got smartweed growing. Look at all that smartweed. Look at that. That ain't nothing but duck food right there. We farming rice out here. We got a marginal area where we're not planting. Look at all that smartweed growing out there, man. That ain't nothing but high nutrition duck food. It's growing all out here amongst this maiden cane grass. You got some beak sedge growing right out yonder. There's the beak sedge. Look at all them white flowers. You see all that white in there? Boy, let me tell you something. If I had a second food behind rice, I would pick smartweed. If you've ever eaten a duck that's been gorging themselves on smartweed, it changes the flavor of the meat. The meat will actually get lighter and tastier. See here, this is why we couldn't plant some of the areas of the field. It's over my knees, man. Too deep for rice. Now we do have some volunteer rice, but look how deep it is up on the stalk. And the wood ducks have come in here and they have picked it. Look at that. They done picked the rice off. Some of this was volunteer rice, developed early, and the wood ducks took advantage of it. They know what time it is, man. You ain't got to call a wood duck to the dinner table. He knows. The Lord put in them animals the ability to find food. And when they do, buddy, and then they also know when one or two of them find food, somehow they know the other ones know. Somehow they tell them. They know. They let their buddies know about it or something. I don't know, but somehow the other birds, the other ducks and all, they'll find out. And they'll go after it. Okay, I got a question. Can somebody please tell me what kind of grass this is? You see this? It's got a purple leaf on it. It gets a head that looks like this. See that head? That's the seed head on it. It grows pretty strong. I get it up in my rice fields, man, and it just pops up out of nowhere. And it produces these little black seeds. See them little black seeds? It produces a lot of them too, man. They're a little black hard seed. And I have yet to be able to identify this plant. I didn't see it until maybe a year before last. See that purplish looking color in that rice right there on the edge? It's right on the edge. And it'll grow in water. It'll grow. It's just like barnyard grass. But here's another shot of it. There you go. There's one of the heads. Let me get it against the skyline so y'all can see it. See, they kind of come off one side. A short leaf on one side, and the head kind of all comes off on one side like that. They got a little hard black seed in them. If anybody knows what that is, please let me know. Look at that. Beautiful. Beautiful rice. My goodness. There ain't no sight any better than a field full of rice, boy. Look at that. And we're kind of on the tail end. See, you can see over yonder where I quit planting. That's where it gets deep. It drops off to deep. Look at them wood ducks. They turned and went the other way. They want to land in this field, though. They want to land in this field. It's full of food. I don't blame them. You see that duck right there? That thing just flew up right at my feet. She was right there. Absolutely beautiful. Look at all that. Sounds like the bullfrogs are loving it too. Beautiful, beautiful crop of rice. So, as I'm walking through this knee-deep water, keeping an eye out for critters that might be in it, I just wanted to let y'all know that I just want to educate you on how rice grows, you know, how it all works. And this is by no means a exhaustive video on it, but when that rice gets a translucent look, so like when it's in the hard dough stage, it's very chalky, almost like a dried up piece of flour dough, you know, just a little grain of, like you rolled up a piece of flour dough and let it dry hard. That's what the rice looks like. Now once it gets a little more ripened, it'll be chalky in the middle a little bit, in the outer core. The core will be chalky, and the outer edges, I'll usually take it and bite it between my teeth, and it'll be chalky in the middle. And but once it has that translucent look to it, just like rice that you buy out of the store, once it gets that translucent look to it, it's hard. It's ready. I have a tester that I use, and I put a handful of rice in it, close it up, hit the button, and it tells me what the moisture level is in it. When it hits that moisture level of about, I say if it hits 21%, it's go time. Because it's going to vary throughout the field, but you generally want the moisture to be kind of an average. And when it hits that, it's go time, man. It's time to get it. You see that red machine back there? It's time to get on it. Time to burn some diesel. So, yeah, I'll definitely be making a video when all that's going on, letting y'all know what's up. Breaking up that old Sesame. I'll definitely be letting y'all know what's up when it's that time. Here it goes.